As it stands, there are only 2 Titanfall games that ever released, but Respawn had many more attempts. In fact, there's 5 Titanfall games that never saw the light of day, or only saw the light of day for a few weeks before they were deleted. Some of these were going to bring really cool concepts, and some honestly looked stupid. So let's dive into every scrapped Titanfall game, starting with Titanfall Online. Titanfall Online was an interesting concept. It started development around 2015, and was essentially building off the Titanfall 1 engine to make a weird Titanfall 1.5. Titanfall Online was being developed exclusively for an Asian audience and was being developed by Respawn Entertainment and Nexon. And trust me, you could tell. All of the pilots from Titanfall 1 had been reworked and made into beautified versions of the pilots. They looked like this. They didn't really look like pilots at all. You had a robot cowboy, a woman in casual clothes with a jump pack, which I think aesthetically is really cool, this guy, and this lady. You also only had 4 classes of Titan within this version of Titanfall: Atlas, Ogre, Strider, and Destroyer. Before the game even released, cosmetics were a big selling point. I mean, you could literally make your Titan look like this, and despite being built off Titanfall 1, it was going to have plenty of unique content, like a Titan shotgun, a Titan minigun, a double-barreled pilot shotgun, which looked absolutely awesome, and people loved it that much, they modded it into Titanfall 2. They were also going to release another exclusive pilot weapon called the Valkyrie sniper rifle, which was a bolt action sniper rifle, very comparable to the Sentinel we have in Apex Legends today. As well as this, some Titans saw optional cosmetic overhauls, like the Atlas Titan, which had an armor upgrade, the Ogre Titan, which also had an armor upgrade, and this, and Titanfall Online would be introducing exclusive maps, one of the most well-known ones being MIA, which was kind of like Derelict, but it was set in a desert, which was really cool and kind of gave like Battle of Jakku vibes from Star Wars Battlefront. So why don't we have this really cool, interesting version of Titanfall active today? Well, it ran a closed beta in 2017, and the reception wasn't really all that good. In fact, the game on a whole was that negatively received that it ended up just not releasing. They later cancelled it in 2018. There were probably a load of factors to this cancellation, likely including the fact that only a month after the beta test ended for Titanfall Online, Titanfall 2 would release. I don't know why they didn't just make Titanfall Online on the Titanfall 2 engine, but the game was scrapped and left forever. Luckily, because the community is very passionate, there have been revival projects to bring Titanfall Online back to life, like TFO Revive, which is a team essentially finishing and remaking Titanfall Online, as well as being willing to make their own changes and modification to the game. So this TFO Online project could eventually become basically a fan-run live service Titanfall, kind of. So I'm excited to see where this goes, and if TFO Revive ever comes to light, I will definitely be playing it. Around the same time, another Titanfall game was cancelled, once again because of bad reception. Announced in 2018, Titanfall Frontline was going to be a Titanfall game, but for mobile. It was essentially going to be a Titanfall card game using Titanfall 1 burn cards, and it was going to be a lot like Hearthstone. People immediately did not like this idea. Despite Respawn's efforts to get people interested in this project, and even sending out little slips in physical copies of Titanfall 1 informing people about the game, they just didn't like what they saw with this Titanfall card game. It seemed extremely boring. It soft launched on Android in mid-September 2016, and then it was quietly cancelled in 2017 after pure negative reception. Luckily though, a lot of the art created for this game would later be reused in Respawn's second venture at a Titanfall mobile game. Yes, they tried again, but honestly, this next attempt was really cool. The next attempt was called Titanfall Assault, which was a mobile real-time strategy Titanfall game released in 2017. It reused the art style and some assets of Titanfall Frontline, but applied them in a super fun environment, because essentially this game was Clash Royale but with Titanfall. There would be a map that had control points, and you could drag and drop your troop cards to go capture these control points while fighting against another real person. The maps were small versions of real Titanfall maps, but they were small for a reason. These fights were going to be quick and tough. You had to manage your resources, choose the right cards for the right moments, and certain cards had certain attributes, like pilots could quickly parkour and cross the map, while Titans, despite being tough, had to slowly follow the path, but the payoff was worth it because they could beat pretty much anything else on the battlefield apart from the enemy's Titans. People absolutely loved this game. It was a great concept, and honestly, the attributes of pilots and Titans meshed perfectly to this style of game. Hell, they even invented their own types of pilots, like the Sim Ninja pilot, which was a phase pilot with a sword, or the Boomer pilot who was anti-Titan, or the Spectre captain who commanded Spectres, or the Ghost, or the Arc Bruiser, or the Stim Bruiser. The game carried some really unique concepts, and people enjoyed it, and it was active for a while, until some news dropped on July the 7th, 2018. Titanfall Assault was closing down. So why was this game that was pretty functionally good and fun and people enjoyed closing down? Well, Respawn said, unfortunately, our experiment in bringing Titanfall to mobile devices as a competitive real-time strategy experience did not translate as well as we hoped. It's with a heavy heart that we'll be concluding the service of Titanfall Assault on January the 30th. Until this date, we'll be turning off in-app purchases, and we hope you enjoy competing with one another up until then. Thank you for your passion and commitment. Unfortunately, it was another one to bite the dust. But it wasn't the last. The next cancelled game is Titanfall 3. Yes, the Titanfall 3. It was being developed before Apex Legends. This was revealed to us by Mohamed Alavi, the lead narrative designer on Titanfall 1, 2, 3, Apex Legends, and another scrap Titanfall game I'll tell you about in a minute. And he revealed this information about Titanfall 3 on a podcast 2 years ago, and this was perhaps the biggest information drop and closure we got on Titanfall 3. He revealed what at the time we were all guessing, that Titanfall 3 was turned into Apex Legends.
And we worked on Titanfall 3 for about 10 months in earnest, right? I mean, we had like new tech for it, we had multiple missions going, we had a first playable, which was like on par to be just as good, if not better, than whatever we had before, right? But I'll make this clear, incrementally better. It wasn't revolutionary, and that's the key.
Okay.
Right? And we were like, feeling pretty decent about it, but not the same feeling as Titanfall 2. We were making something revolutionary.
And the reason they decided to turn Titanfall 3, a really hyped game, into Apex Legends, because Titanfall 3 simply wasn't living up to its standards. He said the game wasn't revolutionary, and they were also having issues with multiplayer and doubts about the multiplayer in it as well.
The multiplayer team was like just dying, and then PUBG came out. and then they made a battle royale map with, Titanfall 3 classes.
So essentially, like he said, they made a BR map for Titanfall 3, and then Titanfall 3 slowly started to turn into something different. Apex Legends. And the crazy thing is, Respawn were responsible for the shift of Titanfall 3 into Apex Legends and Titanfall 3 into a Battle Royale, not EA, contrary to popular belief. And also, they kept this shift a secret from EA for a very long time. After this interview, the internet kind of blew up because he just casually dropped the craziest information about Titanfall 3 we'd heard in a long time, so he did have to drop a bit more context through a tweet. Also, to those not in game dev, 10 months of pre-production doesn't look like much for a product. It's not like a game was scrapped. A prototype was scrapped in favour for a more promising prototype. I appreciate the sadness, but trust me, there's nothing that you would have missed. To the argument that Titanfall 3 didn't need to be better than Titanfall 2, I think you feel that way because of how unique Titanfall 2 felt. If Titanfall 3 was more of the same, it would lack that feeling you were yearning for. I'd rather leave fans with a fond memory than being disappointed with mediocrity. And there are also some other quotes that do line up with this. For example, when Apex was first leaked and it was announced as a Titanfall Battle Royale mode in development, the developer that leaked this also revealed that Titanfall 3 was set to launch by the end of 2018, but the tech and underlying tech was dated, and Titanfall 3 probably wouldn't look or feel as good as it should have. So essentially, Titanfall 3 had the same issue that Half-Life 3 ran into. They made a bit of a prototype and just weren't happy with it, and felt like they weren't progressing the idea of the game and also the gameplay much at all. And because of the fact that Titanfall 3 was turned into Apex, when we take a closer look at Apex, we can see some bits of Titanfall 3 left over in it, and it carries some Titanfall 3 assets, which I'll tell you about soon. Firstly, these days it's assumed most of the OG Legends were going to be pilots or pilot classes in Titanfall 3, considering that in early concept art and footage, they are wearing pilot helmets. And even early on in Apex Legends, there was a class icon for a heavy pilot data mined, which was Gibby. Gibby was going to be the heavy pilot in Titanfall 3, and it was far along enough for Gibby to have a class icon. I mean, this is the class icon next to the phase pilot icon, you can see what I mean. So we can assume legends like Wraith, Gibby, and also Bloodhound were going to be pilots. But what were the pilots in Titanfall 3 going to be doing? Well, it turns out the Titanfall 3 multiplayer might have been a bit different to what we knew from Titanfall 2, as early data miners of Apex Legends that found lines relating to Titanfall 3 in the code determined that Apex would have been a squad-based Titanfall PvE shooter. Now, this is getting closer into theory territory because this is based off files data mined from very early Apex, but data miners did find a mission that they assume was for Titanfall 3 where you had to hunt a Goliath down. But there were some interesting twists, like the fact that the Goliath was immune to every single damage except from energy damage, so you had to find an energy weapon. And energy weapons were around the map, but they were in a care package guarded by poachers, also trying to find the Goliath. So you had to kill these poachers, take their energy weapons, and then kill the Goliath, which I imagine would have been a hell of a boss battle. After that, you would take the loot from the Goliath, so it seems extracting with loot could have been a big part of Titanfall 3, and then you were extracted to the bar, which most people assume would have been the home base of Titanfall 3. Now, this is in heavy theory territory, although last year, when Sean Wilson, one of the animators for Apex Legends and Titanfall, left Respawn and posted his showreel of all the work he'd done, there was this animation in his showreel, where there's loot on the ground, a pilot tries to take it, and then a Goliath kills the pilot. So then, a specialized Titan with a sword on his arm and a shield goes in to fight that Goliath, which, when combined with the data mined information we know, makes it seem like Titanfall 3 was going to be PvE, and this was a Titanfall 3 animation. That does bring to question that if any more of the animations in this guy's showreel are Titanfall 3 animations, like the pilot animations that he made for Pilot AI, which wasn't present in Titanfall 1 or 2, and maybe could have been made for Titanfall 3 considering the game was PvE, but then scrapped when Titanfall 3's idea was scrapped for Apex. And there are also a few more things in the showreel that could have been for Titanfall 3. Here's where it gets crazy though. You know these guys flying around King's Canyon, the hover tanks with big cannons on them? Well, these were also made for Titanfall 3, but were reused for Apex Legends, because there was a Titanfall 3 mission data mined also, where you and a team broke into a base, one team would steal a hover tank, one team would fight a Titan to distract it, one team would take down the turrets, and another team would fight Reapers, while the hover tank team aims the hover tank to shoot a vault in orbit to crack the vault, which I assume would have dropped loot that you could then take back to the bar. So perhaps Titanfall 3 was going to be more of an extraction shooter, but with PvE. Honestly, we'll never get a true idea, and this data mined information here is a bit dubious. We don't know if it was intended for an early version of Apex or a late version of Titanfall 3, but with some evidence that matches up, it does seem more like it could have been a Titanfall 3 thing. I mean, we do have to bear in mind, the Legends that had pilot concepts also had voice lines for the Goliath, Stalkers, Titans, and many more surprising things. I really do hope one day we will see like an early build of Titanfall 3 leak. We've seen early builds of Titanfall 1 shown to us years after Titanfall release, so maybe we'll see the same for Titanfall 3. But yes, it was real, it was in development, and it's now gone. But what about the next Titanfall game that got scrapped? And it may surprise you, but this Titanfall game was in development after Apex Legends was in development, and unfortunately got scrapped only 2 years ago. This game was going to be called Titanfall Legends, and it was essentially going to live up to its name. It was going to be a mix of Titanfall and Apex Legends. But unfortunately, it was announced during February of 2023 that this project was scrapped and the people working on it were moved to other projects or potentially laid off. But how were they going to make a game that's a mix between Apex and Titanfall? Well, we know a few details about the gameplay. First of all, according to Jeff Grubb, the gameplay was supposed to be heavily movement focused and it would bring back wall running. Also, the combat was fast paced like Doom, and it used John Wick and even Tony Hawk for inspiration. In this game, you would play as Blisk and you would meet legends from Apex Legends and they would lend you their powers temporarily. So maybe you could meet Wraith and then you unlock a phase ability or something like that. And because of this information, we can kind of figure out when Titanfall Legends started development, or at least the concepting stage, because around season 9, Blisk disappeared completely from the lore. He was in it almost every season, but after season 9, he disappeared. And he did not come back. until the most recent season in the most recent trailer. So it shows that Respawn were planning to use Cuban Blisk for Titanfall Legends because they took him out of Apex, so there wouldn't be lore clashes with Apex and Titanfall Legends. This was confirmed in a roundabout way by a developer after the news dropped that Titanfall Legends was cancelled, because people were asking the developer, where's Blisk? And he essentially said, Blisk went on an adventure, but he forgot his stuff for the adventure, which left him lost in space, and that's why he wasn't in the Apex lore. Essentially, the adventure was Titanfall Legends, and the project getting cancelled caused him and his lore to get lost in space and essentially be in stasis. Luckily, like I mentioned, he is back in the Apex lore, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Also, throughout the game, you were going to have a Titan, and this would be BT. You would repair him and upgrade him in Rampart's workshop and pilot him during the campaign. And if you're not aware, Rampart's workshop is the one on World's Edge, this thing right here. So this does confirm a very long-standing theory that the boxes behind Rampart's workshop have parts of BT in them. This literally confirms it. This box right here has BT in it. But I guess now he's stuck there because Titanfall Legends got cancelled. Also, there would have been a lot of Titanfall lore in this Titanfall Legends game, like the location of the Ark from the Titanfall games. Also, it was never going to be Titanfall 3. It was always going to be Titanfall Legends. The concept of the gameplay sounds awesome, like a Doom Eternal style Apex Titanfall hybrid with wall running where you also pilot BT sounds amazing, and the fact that this got scrapped and we'll probably never ever see any hint of what Respawn had worked on for it or even a bit of gameplay makes me very sad. And this dream seems to be pretty much dead in the water, and because of this, most people would assume, so is the Titanfall dream dead? But no. For a few years now, there have been rumours that there's been a small team within Respawn that's been slowly growing, that's working on a new Titanfall game. At the start, when the news initially drops that Respawn were kind of prototyping a game in the Titanfall universe, everyone was like, yeah, this is going to get cancelled. But slowly, and slowly over time, this project's not been cancelled, and in fact, it's been gaining more traction, more approval, and more people working on the project. This has been confirmed several times, and the last confirmation that we had that this project was still on was a year ago. But there are rumours going around right now, and it seems this project could see an announcement this year or next year. Not a release, but an announcement. It's already confirmed that this project isn't going to be Titanfall 3. It's going to be in the Titanfall universe. It might just be another Apex, where it's a story totally separated from the Frontier War, Titans, and pilots, but it's still in the universe. We don't know. But honestly, Respawn could easily cash in on the love for Titanfall and just make another Titanfall game. It's not going to hurt. A spin-off isn't going to hurt. Did Half-Life Alyx hurt the Half-Life community? No. So, Respawn, just do a Titanfall game. And for God's sake, don't scrap this one you're working on.